What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing on this Christmas-themed episode of the Yankees Avenue Show?
I mean, bro, I feel like we'd be doing a disservice to the viewers if we did not call this a Christmas special, especially because, dude, we are dressed up for the part today. I got to say, I have a little bit of like, not PTSD right now, but like flat. Remember when I was a little bit like hunkier? You didn't know me then, but like I used to be kind of a chubbier kid. I'm not wearing a shirt under this, right? I was. I'm not wearing a shirt under this, and I can feel my belt, the metal of my belt touching the flab of my stomach, which isn't ideal, but I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's a little uncomfortable. We look good, I think, today.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the sweaters. Bro.
Sorry you can't relate to chubby problems, Pat. Okay,
No, I can.
I get it.
You never saw me when I was younger either. I was a chubby kid, bro. But it happened.
You were.
But yo, I say we jump right into things here. We have a fun episode today. We have Christmas openings. We have baseball-related Christmas gifts. I don't know. We'll see. But first question has to do with Aaron Judge, bro. Yankees' new captain, Aaron Judge. It was an awesome press conference. And usually I don't like those like introductory press conferences, especially when it's like a player you're re-signing, I guess, like especially in Judge's case. But Dan, what'd you think of it? And how big of a deal do you think that him being named 16th captain is?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a shoo-in. You knew that he was going to be named captain. I just didn't know if they were going to do it yesterday. But once you saw Jeter come in, then it was like, all right, this is happening. This is sick. I will say, everything about the press conference was awesome. I loved it. I was like borderline teary-eyed. The one L was I wish I used Jeter a little more. I think it would have been cool to like have him speak. All they really had him do was hand flowers off to Patty Judge, which is nice. And the fact that he was there was awesome. But yeah, dude, I thought it was sick. And, normally it's a little weird to put a jersey on a player that you are retaining. But I think it made sense. Part of me was hoping to see a C on that jersey. Yeah. I knew they weren't going to do that, but I hear all these people all the time. They're like, oh, the Yankees can't do that, bro. That's like a Jason Varitek thing. It's like, do you think the Boston Red Sox are like the team that invented the C on the chest or on the sleeve? Nah, that's like a thing all over hockey. I'm pretty sure like other baseball teams have done it in the past. I think it would have looked so sick. But yeah, man, I mean, this is a move that I've dreamt of since, I don't know, I was 17 years old. And even though we saw it coming, it's cool to officially hear it come out of Hal Steinbrenner's mouth, the 16th captain in Yankees history. And one reason I'm pretty really excited about it, like a new feeling I'm having, is that it does feel like kind of a start of a new era, or at least that's the how I'm choosing to look at it, if that makes sense. We had the baby bombers. That era to me is now over, or you could say it was over for a couple of years now. Now we're in the Judge captaincy era. So fresh, clean slate. I'm ready for, like Judge said, one championship, multiple championships to come. So I thought it was good, man. I thought it was good.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you just said. My only gripe is that they didn't utilize Jeter more. I mean, you have Jeter come in. I know that it probably wouldn't happen, but I would love for Jeter to be the one to announce Judge's captain, kind of like passing of the torch kind of thing.
I thought that's what they would have done, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that was a huge missed opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong, Hal Steinbrenner is the owner of the Yankees, but I don't think that you have to be the one to make every announcement. I don't think Hal was the guy for that. But it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, Judge is captain regardless. But yeah, I mean, I wish that they would have given him the C too, like maybe on a sleeve, bro. Like how they put like the number for like players that might have like
the only downside to that would be it would be a pretty packed jersey because you would have that. Yes, if anybody passes away, you have the black armband, you have the Nike logo, and then you're also probably looking at like I don't know, a Frosted Flakes logo going on the jersey soon or something. So it could become pretty packed, which I hope the Yankees don't do, by the way. I know it's coming. And I will. Yeah, you do. You have a choice. You now have the option to put ads in your jerseys, which I think most teams are going to do. And if the Yankees do it, I'll get over it 100%. But yo, you put on like a fucking, I don't know, what's like a random, like, dude, imagine like the Burger King logo on the Yankee jerseys, or sure, Tinder logo. I mean, whatever it may be, dude. Another part of the press conference that I absolutely loved, Aaron Boone, I thought was like hilarious in the interview. Like how happy he looked, bro. Oh, screw you, man.
I'm the opposite.
Boone hates somewhere else. Why? Yeah, because it's Boone's fault we didn't win a World Series.
No. I know it's just that I don't think he's funny. It's like I
think
annoying.
I think Boone's hilarious. If there's one thing Boone has, I actually think he's hilarious. Like even if I was the biggest Boone hater, aka Patrick Hennessy, I would be able to admit like, yo, this guy is pretty funny.
Okay, but I don't think he's funny. Like, bro, you can't convince me that I think Aaron Boone's funny. I just don't. And like, if you do, cool, but I don't.
I'm not saying intentionally funny, but like Jimmy's breakdown from like 19, the Savages in the Box breakdown, like unintentionally one of the funniest things of all time. One of the funniest baseball interactions I've ever seen.
You call funny, I call corny. But we're talking about press conferences. Carlos Rodon, he got a nice little press conference. I think this kind of relates to what I said originally, that not a huge fan of like introductory press conferences, especially in this Rodon case. It felt a little bit useless. I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that.
No, I think it was good that they did it. It just, it's one of the things like you're really excited, like, oh, Carlos Correa introductory press conference, let's go. And then you watch, and it's kind of like, it's almost like the first day of spring training where you're like a little itch of baseball, like, let's go, I'm ready for this. Then you watch, it's like, well, this isn't all that entertaining. Especially
it's just not fun.
They didn't ask him any questions, and he said he's a man of very few words, but we don't pay you to talk, bro. Like, it's all good. Like, he's just gonna shove, and that's that. I think he looks great in the jersey. I think he looks even better without a beard. People always talk about Yankees got rid of that rule. Worked out well in Rodon's case, in my opinion, because he looks phenomenal. He'll have the mustache too, which will help it out a little bit. Wearing 55, taking Mingo's old number, which I think we all knew was coming. But Rodon press conference was good, and hopefully we got another one for Bryan Reynolds coming up.
Yeah, listen, Dan, great transition here. Speaking of Bryan Reynolds, John Morosi of MLB Network reported that the Yankees have indeed been checking in on Bryan Reynolds. And the Pirates, they're looking for a return of starting pitching. So, Dan, we like to put scales on this show, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence that Cashman's able to get this deal done? I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I'm going to go with a 6 because the way I see it is 5 would be right down the middle. You don't really know what's going to happen. I lean towards I believe it will. Now, when that report came out today from John Morosi about the starting pitching, and that's what the Pirates are seeking, a lot of people got all like bent up in arms and saying that like the trade's not going to happen no more. I don't see that as the case at all. First of all, you look at Peraza and Dominguez, the two top prospects in baseball, top 15, really, top 20. Maybe Peraza's 25. I don't know. But point is, you package those two in a deal. There's no way the Pirates hang up the phone and don't listen. No chance in hell. 2, while yes, the Yankees don't exactly have like that premier starting pitching talent, they do have like quite a few names on the roster that they could like supplement the deal with. I mean, Clayton Beeter, Luis Gil, I love. You could always give him up though. I wouldn't, be crying sleep over that. Clark Schmidt, he's not my favorite pitcher in the world, but like, still young, first-round draft pick, did technically have success last year. Advanced metrics, love him. Like, you can't tell me a package surrounding Peraza, Dominguez, Schmidt, 1 or 2 more top pitching, one of our top 10 starting pitching prospects. I think that's more than capable to get the deal done. And if not, you could always entertain the idea of a three-team trade. And when you're looking at the position the Yankees are in, where they don't really have any other options for left field, I mean, it's really just a trade market at this point. And like we talked about last week, Michael Conforto. So if you're not going to go that route, which they very well could, you're really just looking at Bryan Reynolds or Austin Meadows or like the outfielder from the Diamondbacks. Reynolds, far and away, man, as I've said this entire offseason, you really got to go out and get him. If you were to go out and get Reynolds, then you're looking at an A offseason. 100%. I think every Yankee fan would be satisfied with that.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. On my scale, I'd probably be a little bit more optimistic than you, just because like you said, I think that this is the move that you have to make. When you look at by the way, my number is a 7, by the way. So I'll put it at 7 out of 10. But I think when you look at the options that are available left on the market, it's kind of like how the Mets payroll stacks up against every other team in the majors, right? They're far and away the highest one. And I think Bryan Reynolds is far and away the best available outfielder on the market, unless there's someone available that I'm not thinking of. But it's literally Bryan Reynolds, and then like I would say probably like 3 levels, and then Michael Conforto, and then everyone else. It's like, bro, you can't put Max Kepler and any of those Diamondback outfielders in the same category as a Bryan Reynolds. He is an impact bat, and he's probably, unless you could think of anybody else, he's probably the only impact bat left, whether it's free agency or trade. Can you think of another
that's
one?
Being talked about? Yeah, 100%. And, as for Max Kepler, I'm glad you brought that up. We haven't really talked about him too much on the show, and I wouldn't hate him if we got him. And he's been linked to the Yankees for quite some time now. The thing is, though, is that like, while yes, he does have like some upside, you look at the player he's been and is projected to be, I think you're better off just rolling the dice on, just start Oswaldo out there full time in left field, which isn't the route I've been vocal about taking. And I don't want to necessarily take that route. But like at that point, like instead of giving up assets for Kepler, you might as well just go with Oswaldo. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
I think it just makes too much sense, as I've been saying this whole entire time. And I won't get my whole spiel about Reynolds because I feel like I've been doing it all offseason. But like, dude, you look at the Yankees lineup right now, and that's the one area that's missing something, missing multiple things, I think, in both of our opinions. You put Bryan Reynolds in there, all of a sudden, dude, like the landscape of the offseason goes from being possibly good to it is cemented. Like we had a damn good offseason, probably our best. Honestly, that Rodon, Judge, Rizzo, Canely, Reynolds would probably be the best overall offseason that I've been alive for. Outside of 2009, which I'm not going to fully count because I wasn't able to experience that as a fan.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, I can't really think of a scenario where if the Yankees don't get Reynolds, that I could still consider this a successful offseason. You know what I mean?
I
And I
can,
know,
I can. There's a lot of like B- B scenarios, which is still fine because you can upgrade at the deadline.
sure.
But there's one A offseason left, and it involves Bryan Reynolds and Bryan Reynolds only.
Yeah, and I think that that's really the key. If the Yankees really want to capitalize on this World Series window, they have to get Reynolds. And unfortunately, I think the Pirates know that, and I think they'll use that to their own leverage because the Yankees are kind of desperate because the market is so thin. And they will have to pay the price for it, whether that be including guys that they don't want to or including a third team in the deal. I don't know.
Which let me say too, to close this all off, they want Anthony Volpe, no chance in hell. Like that's where
Yeah.
I do not hang up the phone, but like there's no world where I'm trading Anthony Volpe for Bryan Reynolds, Jason Dominguez, and Oswald Peraza, and then some, 100%.
We'll see. I just want to see the Yankees improve. That's all. And as of right now, they've made one big improvement with Carlos Rodon and one slight improvement with Tommy Kahnle. Other than that, bro, we're looking at a lineup that got swept by the Houston Astros because they couldn't score any runs. So that lineup needs improvement. We'll see if they do it. But speaking of that lineup, one guy who I guess is kind of polarizing in the Yankees lineup has become Gleyber Torres. And he's been a hot topic in trade talk so far this offseason. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was all but certain that Gleyber was going to be traded, but now the time has gone on. And also, I mean, the fact that the Yankees haven't really brought in any of those big infield free agents, I'm kind of thinking that it's pretty likely that Gleyber doesn't get traded at this point. Where do you stand on a potential Gleyber deal?
Yeah, so this is like a total flip flop from where I was in my offseason blueprint. But the thing is that yes, I had Gleyber being traded, which one would save some money. I think he's about to make like $9 million this year. Two, I had them getting a big free agent bat at this point, or already getting some sort of impact bat by this point. Right now, if you were to take Gleyber Torres out of the Yankees lineup, which is already not great, as we know, then you're really in some trouble. You're probably looking at like Josh Donaldson starting at third base for sure, like the entire 3.5 months until the trade deadline. Gleyber Torres had a good year last year, and I kind of want to walk back the way I've been talking about him. Not that I thought he was bad, but like I definitely had some just got eliminated from the ALCS and want a total makeover team in my head when I was saying like trade Gleyber Torres. Now, Gleyber Torres is a good player. He had a WAR over 4 last year, had an OPS of like 830 outside of 1 month. August, he was obviously terrible. And the defense is the best that he's ever had in his career. So he's a very nice player, still under control for another 2 more seasons. I think there's definitely still a world where they trade him, but the way it's headed right now and like the current landscape of the Yankees offseason, I just don't think it makes all that much sense. Even with knowing that DJ is apparently healthy, not going to get surgery, like Gleyber Torres, as of right now, he's probably projected to be the Yankees' third best bat behind Judge and Stan, or maybe fourth behind Rizzo. But it's kind of like, where is this lineup without him? So I've done a total flip flop from where I was in the beginning of the offseason, really just because of how certain moves haven't played out.
I agree. And also, I mean, like you said, you consider the fact if you trade Gleyber, it's almost a lock that Josh Donaldson is going to be starting every day. While he still might be starting every day, we'll see. I don't know. But by trading Gleyber, you kind of solidify that. And also, I feel like the narrative with Gleyber is kind of skewed. Just because, like you said, that one really, really bad month. But also, even when I feel like when he's on, it doesn't feel like he's on. Does that make sense? Just because I feel like the style in which he plays, like there are moments where when Gleyber's bad, bro, it's very widely known. Like he'll casually walk to first base, and that'll kind of like stick in your head a little bit. And for example, when you look at a guy like DJ LeMahieu, even when he's struggling, you still like it still looks like he's giving it 110% all the time. So people don't rag on him as much. And that's why it's kind of like a Gary Sanchez thing, right? When they're struggling, it's very known that they're struggling. So people just constantly pound on them for it. And I think Gleyber becomes a victim of that as well.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Also, I mean, in a way, Glaber's worst curse is the fact that he was unbelievable the first 2 years. And it was like everything we could have wanted and more, coming up as a top prospect, had the fall off. And then, man, I think even sometimes I forget how good he was this year. I mean, it was almost one of the more impressive, like 800 OPS 4-month spans that I've seen, because it was really so consistent. Like, how much were we like wanting Gleyber Torres in the All-Star game this past year? That's how good he was. You know what I mean? So I think I kind of just had to take a month away from the elimination, because that's the fan in me. You know what I mean? Like, I want changes. That was me like pulling out like a George Steinbrenner as personality in a way.
Sure.
It's like, all right, this happened. We got eliminated. Like, totally changed the entire team. Let's roll out something new next year. Then you take a step back and you realize like, nah, like this dude wasn't the problem. While he wasn't good in the playoffs, like Gleyber Torres being a part of the 2023 Yankees, like that's nothing to think that that's why we're going to lose the Astros in the ALCS again.
I agree. I just get annoyed with him sometimes just because it's like, yo, even when you're struggling, like, bro, play the game. You know what I mean? Like, and it's weird because usually I'm not that type, but it's like, it's very evident that like he lets it get to him. And I feel
I think there's something to be said about, what does everybody talk about why those struggles happened? It was because he was linked in trade rumors.
Sure,
that
but
can't
that's
happen.
no reason to struggle.
That can't happen. No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to excuse like another month of batting Woody bat, like 170 last year in August. Like that can't happen again. I'm just choosing to like give him the benefit of the doubt because 5 out of the 6 months he was great, and 2 years left of control. So I guess the final conclusion I'm coming up to here is like, if the right offer's on the table, like word, I'm listening. But like, I am no longer like seeking out a trade for Gleyber Torres, which I think was silly of me to do in the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%.
Like, I'm literally the GM.
Before we get into the next topic, I want to address one thing. Dan, your hair looks great today.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, bro. It looks good.
It's a good hair day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've been not to say it again, but I didn't shampoo today. Like my listeners have been telling me.
Took the advice.
Damn it, I forgot to say subscribe in the open. Subscribe, everybody, because I want to get to 100K subs.
So your parents could love you.
Yeah, exactly. They don't love me right now. Not until I get to 100K. On Instagram too, so follow Yankees Avenue. Pat, you look phenomenal, by the way. I love the red hat. What's on the back? What is the decal?
It just says unhinged. Yeah.
Oh, your brand. Unhinged. I see unhinged hella places right now, right in the background too.
Yeah, it's all over. But yo, moving on to the next topic here, Dan. This is a topic that I don't even think you want to touch on, but I feel like it's almost demanding. What's a word for it? It's very necessary to talk about.
In the Hennessy household, yes.
But Carlos Correa, you know I've been in love with Carlos Correa for the past 2 off seasons. Signed a deal with the Giants. Medicals fell through. Bang. Mets swoop in, spending $500 million this offseason. They signed Carlos Correa to a 12-year. I think it was like $315 million or something like that. I'm going to be honest with you. Our question that we're coming off of this is, are we bothered by this, right? And very briefly, I'll give you my thoughts on it because I feel like you might have my thoughts on it a little bit misconstrued.
Yeah. No, but go on.
Now, I am bothered by this, okay? And I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with the New York Mets. If there was another team out there, like let's say the Dodgers, just went out there and have like a $500 million payroll and are signing all this top talent, I'd be annoyed in the same exact way because I look at the New York Yankees and the Mets have done, and they've utilized their financial resources in every way possible that the Yankees should be doing, right? Because the Yankees probably have more money, more financial resources to utilize than the Mets do. So there's no reason.
That's definitely not true, but they have.
Why is that not true?
For sure. Steve Cohen is like worth $17 billion. Like where he's at and where Hal Steinbrenner's at are very different areas. That's not my argument against what you're saying at all, though.
No, but it's also very different. Like the Yankees are one of the most highly valued organizations in sports. So
they got hella dough to spend. We agree on that. They got
a lot more money than they have, right? So the Yankees could easily spend the same amount of money as the Mets. They just don't want to pay that 90% luxury tax. And that's what bothers me the most because I know we all say like, oh, the Mets are a little brother. Like who cares what the Mets do? But when you're playing in the same city and you also have like more financial resources, I look at it in the sense of I look at them and I'm like, yo, I wish we could be doing that, right? It's just a matter of I want the Yankees to go out there and put every dollar on the table to put the best possible team on the field because you can make the argument that, yo, the Mets might not even win the World Series this year after spending all this money. And that would be fine because what they're doing is they're putting themselves in the best possible position to win the World Series. And that's what I want the Yankees to do. And that's what I feel like they haven't done. So that's why I'm bothered by this. It doesn't have anything to do with the Mets. It has to do with a team living our dream.
Okay, well, a lot of what you said, you almost did open up my eyes a little bit. Like, all right, word, like I totally get where you're coming from because it sounds very similar to what I've been saying, except for the fact when you bring up that they're playing in the same city, like that literally does nothing for me. I feel the same way with Carlos Correa on the Giants that I do with him on the Mets. I want the Yankees to spend more and improve their team because that's what they have to do. They have to spend more and they have to improve their team. Not because the team across town's doing it, not because, let's just say, take the Mets and they were in San Francisco. If they were doing it, spending $400 million on their payroll. No, I simply want the Yankees to improve because they set a standard. The team that I'm competing with isn't the Mets or any other team. It's the team that I grew up knowing was the greatest franchise in sports and that there was a standard. That's what I'm in my head competing with as to what the Yankees are now to what they used to be, right? And, you look at the revenue compared to money spent. And the Yankees payroll was in the $200 million in, I believe starting around 2005, 2006, they started to get there. And it's never gone past 300 million, despite revenue going up like crazy. If you were to look at one of those charts and you look at like revenue to money on the payroll spent, this is revenue, this is payroll. It goes like this. It's like crazy. Like the Yankees, they took in close to over like just under $1 billion in revenue last year. So they absolutely can spend more. And it's as simple as that. The Mets, I will say, I don't think Hal-Steimer he definitely doesn't have Steve Cohen's wealth. If Steve Cohen were to say go up to a $500 million payroll, that's not what I would ask of Hal Steinbrenner. No, give us 300 though. Go a little bit more. Right now, I believe we're at like 280. Like it would be nice to just go past that $290 million tax. Absolutely. But you don't do that because what the Mets are doing. You don't do that because what any other owner is doing. No, you do it because it's the right thing to do. And you want to reinvest money into your franchise that you make a shitload of dough on. And hopefully we're seeing that now with Hal Steinbrenner.
Yeah, that's not my argument, though. I'm not saying to do it because the Mets are doing it. I'm saying that the Mets are setting the standard for how it should be done.
Your reaction to that, though, is in like, say your Hal Steinbrenner should be the exact same, whether it's the owner across the street or the owner 10,000 miles away. No.
That should be your reaction, even if no other team is doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
Saying the reason why the Mets thing bothers me is because they're showing us what we should be doing. That's why.
Nothing we didn't already know, though. I mean, like I knew the Yankees took in $850 million in revenue last year.
No, but there's no reason the Yankees couldn't do that with Correa, or they couldn't do that with Verlander. No, like, bro, they could have done all of this.
100%, absolutely. But that's been known. Like what the Mets are doing, like they're spending money on a free agent. That's great. And while yes, I guess you could say like I'm jealous of a team that spends in that way. Like I've always felt that way, not because Carlos Correa just signed a $100 million bag with the Mets. So it has nothing to do with the Mets is what I'm saying. Like it's just the Yankees have always needed to spend more, at least as of late. And until maybe knock on wood, they totally do it this offseason, which they kind of Hal's having a good offseason. So I want so far so good. If we get Reynolds our word, A+. But like going into this offseason, it's always just been they needed to improve. They should spend more money to improve. And they're more than capable of doing that. That's the reason why, not because of what any other team is doing. So I think we are seeing a little more eye to eye on it. It has straight up nothing to do with what the Mets are doing. Not at all. Sure. And I do want to make this clear. This is the point I was going to get into. They are on different levels. They 100% are. Hal, yes, can spend more. He doesn't have Steve Cohen money. And it does go beyond money, to be fair. It also goes, there's draft picks. No, they can't. Like Steve Cohen could theoretically he could have $1 billion payroll.
The Yankees can have a $500 million payroll. They could.
No, I'm sure they could, but also there's a lot more that goes into it too, because I mean, you're looking at Steve Cohen and like his hedge fund, dude, like that's all his money. His net worth is what goes into the Mets. The Yankees, however, one, they're operating strictly off the revenue that they bring in with the franchise. Two, there's like stockholders that go into it. It's not really just Hal. Obviously, Hal's the face of it. He has the majority, but like with Steve Cohen, it's a one-man show. That's not the case with the Yankees. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending the Yankees whatsoever. I'm saying they are on a different level now, 100%. Like they are the rich boys in town, 100%, like without a doubt. But regardless, like that doesn't affect our situation. We 100% can spend more and we can like devote more money to improving this team.
And let me just say one more thing before we get into our little Christmas gift opening here.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What the only thing that also like bothers me the most is that the Yankees have not spent in the past 2 seasons in anticipation for Anthony Volpe, a guy who's played a handful of games above AA. Meanwhile, the Mets just went all out for Carlos Correa, moved him to third base, even though they already had Francisco Lindor, an all-star shortstop. So while the Yankees are avoiding all-star shortstops because of a guy who might become an all-star shortstop, the Mets went out and they got the best talent available regardless of who they already had on the roster. And that's what I appreciate too. Because that goes back to like the early 2000s Yankees, where it's like, yo, A-Rod was available and they might have already had a shortstop. Let's bring in A-Rod and make him a third baseman. You know what I mean? That's the mentality that I love.
I still consider it to be different situations. I mean, what happened with Correa just absolutely bonkers nuts. And if there's one emotion I have for the Mets, dude, it's like celebration. I think it's awesome. Like in my ideal world, like that does happen. The Correa move to the Mets does happen. They're spending all this money because one, it's good for baseball. Two, I guess it's all hand in hand, good for baseball. But like these other owners, dude, like seeing Steve Cohen, I'm sure they're getting pissed. I'm sure there's owners that are saying like, we can't compete with this. We're going to sell our team. You're also going to see other billionaires that are like, yo, this is dope as hell. Because Steve Cohen's praised like crazy right now, bro. Like they were saying on baseball today, and it's so true. Like he's like, outside of like the actual athlete figures on the team, like he's the face of New York right now, man. Steve Cohen in the sports industry. It's awesome.
He's
so,
the
like,
new George Steinbrenner.
I think you're going to see more and more billionaires get involved, but it's awesome for baseball 100%. And, I'm happy for them, but it does nothing for the way I feel about the Yankees because my opinion is stay the same the entire time. I want them to spend more. Simple as that.
Sure. But I say we get into our little topic number 5 now.
Which let me take over for a second here because
go for it.
I do feel really bad. I'm not sure if we've mentioned it in the show, but yes, me and Pat are exchanging gifts together for topic 5. I ordered my shit last week, and unfortunately for the recording of this show, which is the 22nd December, it hasn't come in yet. But Pat's a better friend than I am, and his did come in, and it's right here. It's huge.
I will say, in your defense, I got mine off of Amazon. So, bro, obviously Amazon's like, bro, you get it in like 2 days. So,
I got mine off eBay.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, I'll open mine on the next episode.
Dude, can I? I won't say anything about the gift, but it's just there's something so funny that I can't wait to talk to you about. But okay, can I open your gift now?
Go for it. I'm so excited.
Yo, dude, this was fucking huge. Didn't we set up? This was $50. Is that what we said?
Yeah, we set a $50 limit.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I thought we set a $30 limit, but
oh really?
Something else too. Honestly,
No, it's fine.
I have something in the works for you now, bro, because I have a phenomenal idea. Okay, here we go. It's a big Amazon box. It's already open. It's already open because my dad's name is also Dan. He opened it. Bro, dude, you're on fucking crack, bro. No, bro.
Bro, is that not sick?
Bro, it's sick as fuck, dude. Are you kidding me? This is what Pat just fucking got me, dude. Pat,
life-size Elvis stand-up.
You guys off Amazon?
Yeah.
Pat, this is a legitimate gift that I like not even just like a gag gift. Like this is going in my room, and I'm gonna be standing it up. I needed Elvis decor too. I have only Yankee shit in my Hoboken crib, and I was like, I'm absolutely gonna put some Elvis stuff up. So this works perfectly.
Okay, because you know what my thought process was? I was like, yo, I want to get Dan a gift that's like fun, funny, relevant to the show, and also something that like you could have in your background scenery for the show. You know what I mean?
I want to put it up right now.
You see, yeah, there you go.
Me and Elvis, yo. Yeah, that's
Is that Aaron Judge
gift.
next to him?
Yeah, it's a mini fathead or whatever. Pat, I fucking love that, dude. You're the man. Now I feel even worse, bro.
Why?
Because your gift didn't come in.
That's
I feel terrible.
I'll do it next time.
Dude, this is so hot in these sweaters, by the way. I'm taking this off like immediately. You know what I'm putting on after? The game tonight. QB1, baby, let's go.
Shout out to the Jets.
Shout out to Zach Wilson, my boy. All right, well, that's gonna do it, Pat. You're like the best gift giver of all time, dude. That's like a legitimate gift that I'm gonna like enjoy. Like that's fucking sick.
Well, cool. You gonna cuddle with it?
No, I didn't mean like that, bro. I'm not that fucking Dahmer shit. All right, yo, that was a good episode today.
Solid.
The holiday special, the Christmas special.
By the way, also
sweaters on. We're gonna put some lights on the banner. Go on.
All of our giveaway winners from last episode, all the gifts are shipped out. All the winners have been contacted. So shout out to all you guys. Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Foco too for hooking us up big time on that.
Dude, shut up.
And yeah, I guess is this the last show of the year?
No, we're gonna have one more show before New Year's, but this is the last show before Christmas. So to everyone who celebrates Christmas, Merry Christmas, bro.
A week from today is yeah, you're right. One more before New Year's.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Yeah. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, bro.
Yeah,
yo,
happy holidays. Yo, facts. And it's hope everybody has a happy, safe, healthy Christmas and all that. Tell your family I said hello.
We
Dan
love
from
you.
Yankees Avenue and
we
Pat
love
from
your
Yankees
family.
Avenue.
Yeah.
That'll do it for this episode, y'all. Hopefully by the time next time we talk, maybe Bryan Reynolds will be a Yankee. That'd be a pretty good Christmas present.
We'll see. Maybe
Dude,
I always Ohtani will be a Yankee.
I always lose the ability to talk towards the end of the show, so we got to get going.
It's all good.
All right, Pat. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the gift, man. Hey, I got you next week.
Yeah.
Don't open it till the show.
Obviously not. What the fuck?
All right, Pat. One more time. Your sweater looks great. All right, y'all.
Bro.
Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you are new, rate, review, subscribe, all that on the podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees.